This would be one of the oddest interviews we've done. Well, I've had her on before, but why not bring her on back on again? Yes!
Love, love, love.
There she is!
Love, American style. Truer than the red, white, and blue. Love, American style.
Yes. It's wife number one. Paula Grooms, great to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Sure, John.
Yes. You can call me Michael or whatever you want. Paula
Happy
with
Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's Day. Paula with her award-winning book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Guy Decides to Make You, quote unquote, the one. We talked about, we had you on like a couple of years ago when you had that book, but I wanted to get you on because you are my expert and so many other people's expert when it comes to dating, and this being Valentine's Day. I thought I would chat with you about some of the common mistakes that people make. What's the big issue, the big surrounding issues with Valentine's Day, do you find?
It's summed up in one word.
Uh-oh.
Expectations.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yep, that's it.
Bye-bye. No, what
Bye.
expectations of?
You know, it's the third biggest breakup time of the year. The week before, leading up to Valentine's Day itself, and the week after. It's a really big breakup time because of the expectations going into it and surrounding it. You know, people who are in that space of maybe they're not really sure where the relationship is going, or if one of the big issues around people breaking up is if the relationship was already in a weakened state prior to Valentine's Day. Because expectations with men and women are so different. You're going to love this one, John. What do you think is the number one thing women want for Valentine's Day?
Jewelry. Is that right?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
dang. Oh.
Yeah. I know. It's an expectation. Yeah, jewelry, you know, going out, the whole romantic thing. And what do you think is the number one thing men would like to have for Valentine's Day?
Sex.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay.
Sexual favors.
and what do you think-
Sexual favors.
Right. And what do you think men want on Groundhog's Day?
Sexual favors.
Okay, fine. Yes, got it. Okay. Favors. I got it. All right. So the woman would like some jewelry and the guy would like something else.
Right.
And so you're saying, and what happens is leading up to this day, to the Valentine's Day, that if all the expectations are not being met, if the boxes aren't being checked, then the woman in her mind starts to say, well, this guy is not meeting this level of expectation. Is it because she hasn't articulated those things? I know you always talk about, and the coaching that you give to so many women is that the man needs to know. Don't try to get him to try to guess things because men are terrible at that.
But it's the way women tend to tell men, and it's typically done in a more didactic way, and that doesn't really turn you on. It needs to be done in a sexy, flirty, fun way. That, yeah, it would be really nice to have X for Valentine's Day, whatever that X is for her. And, you know, then you're more apt to give it.
I see. Why is it that after a number of weeks or months that the relationship begins to sort of fall into a routine? People say, well, I'm going to try to keep the romance alive. Is that biologically possible, or does it just wear out the prostate?
I'm laughing because you said a matter of weeks or months.
Yes, because I'm just trying to stretch it out a little bit. Yeah.
How about years, John? How about years?
Okay, or years. Right, yes.
Right. It's a natural normative thing. And I think Orion, his name is Dr. Orion Taliban, you know, he came right out and said it, and I think it's very, very true. The best of relationships can be summed up in one word, and that is boring.
Yes.
And it's because a relationship that lacks drama and chaos can feel boring But it's not boring at all. It can be wonderful and normal, loving and supportive, but then we have to add like the spice in it. And Valentine's Day is a great day to add in that spice that you might be lacking in the quote unquote boring relationship.
You know, so many of the women that you coach, you and I have talked about this before off the air, where you tell them, okay, you met a great guy. That's great. All right. I know you're all excited and stuff. And then you give them instructions to follow along because you said, if you make this mistake, you're going to be right back where you were again. So many of the women, even though they respect you and they know how great you are at all of this, and they're paying you as well for this advice, they don't follow the advice.
Yes, and that is because we are creatures of habit. We actually go on our feelings, and one of the things that I work most with when I'm working with someone is actually our programmed experience of what love is. And everybody has a programmed experience of love that's like a thumbprint, because every one of us is a baby coming into the world. From birth to age 7, we're in a brain state of being programmed of what love is according to that environment, mostly about the relationship with the mother figure, many times with the dad too, but any primary caregiver. And we know only 2 things when we come into the world. We're a blank slate otherwise. We know how to suckle, and we know that our mere survival depends on that love interest, being the mother figure, loving us. So we will tend to do whatever it is from our baby mind that gets us the love. And so we're programmed to do that, and we keep repeating that with each adult love interest. We actually start repeating it like right away, adolescence and on up, we start repeating it. We actually give ourselves that experience of love with whatever relationship we have, whatever partner.
So we could replace the word love with what is familiar, right? So it's what you know. Well, that's love. So that you want to recreate that familiar things that feel the most natural to you, and then that's the thing you go out and look for into the world.
Yeah, it's like speaking a language. If somebody else is speaking the language, say you were in an environment where you had to prove yourself, you felt, again, it's not the parents' issue necessarily, and it's why children that have, many siblings, each one of those siblings is uniquely programmed for their experience of love. It's not, just because of the parents at all. It's a combination of the innate stuff coming in from the child, just your DNA type of stuff, and then the programming according to where the parents were at that time in their life. If you're falling that's why your birth order helps kind of precipitate what you're going to experience too. But it's more than just a familiarity. It's like if you're one of those people that's programmed to be proving themselves all the time to be worthy of love, when somebody just gives it to you naturally, it's like, what's that? That's not love. That
Right.
doesn't even feel like it. Yeah.
And most people are attracted to their opposite sex parent.
Actually, they've done a lot more on that.
Uh-oh. Okay.
And it's actually the parent with which you had the most difficult relationship. It's not necessarily the opposite sex at all. It's you're going to be attracted to, again, your experience of what love is.
Wow. So much
Yeah.
stuff.
I know, right?
I know, right? Coach Paula Grooms, dating coach, CoachPaulaGrooms.com. Never took my last name. I see that right there. I miss you.
Thanks, John.
I'll see you.
Very nice. You too.
I'll see you in New York. I'll be there. Nick and I are coming in a couple of months. We'll make sure we get dinner
Nice.
together again. Okay?
Say hi to her.
I will.